sports listeners. I'm your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
This whole hour of Santa Barbara teen athletes. Woo! And we're talking all athletes.
Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending upon when you're checking in. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. If you're on 96.9, welcome. 1290 AM, welcome. Or on Eternity Ready Broadcasting, a new Christian station that just picked up our show. Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to land on morning because it's beautiful here. We're in Santa Barbara. We've got a full house. We've got in the house today Ed Lango. Hey, Ed.
Good morning.
All day Ed. All day Ed. That's what I call him. We've got a segment later on today. Of course, we have our producer, Richard Dugan, Don Sanders, Stephany Forrester. We have a community activist now in the house. I'm really excited about that. She's going to give us an update here in a second. Kristine Marie is going to be pulling a card, and we need a card because it's taken us forever to get this show launched today, but that's okay. Dr. Amy Saltzman's in the house. She's also doing a relaunch. We're going to hear about that as well. So let's do Don Sanders. We're going to start off with Don. Don, you've had an exciting couple of weeks. We've started a new direction. We're trying to move the needle a little bit as far as all the concerns going on in our city and our county. And you're in the beautiful Ventura County, living in Ojai, really getting your feet wet in there. What's going on in Ojai?
Well, back at the 4th, there was a nice representation there. We were able to go on to a parade, join the 4th of July parade representing Ojai Interfaith Council. We've been designated an International City of Peace, and that a couple that's been responsible for that has worked long and hard for that. And on the back of our T-shirts, we represented our Buddhist Association, SGI USA, and a good day. It was a really nice day, 75. I'm recapping the prior events here, and then I got to reprise a role of being Mr. I get to float through the parade, spritzing the crowd and the walkers with cold water. I've become a huge hit with that function, actually. So it's good because, I can see that we've made some inroads into trying to create a dialogue in the community about how we can live up to our designation as a city of peace. And I think we'll be able to enlarge on what we've done here in the coming year.
Yeah, well, I tell you, your city has been a great model, being so blessed and having Dr. Tiffany Morse join the show a few weeks back and seeing what you guys are doing there, especially for after-school programs for kids over the summer. Everybody's free through the Family Fund. I love it. It's really great. It's a little bit distracting because we're trying to navigate through a few issues that we're trying to get our kids I guess, I don't know how else to say. I'm going to let Stephany Forrester give us a heads up. But, of course, we still are in crisis mode. We still have 700 kids displaced. Friday Night Lights is still hasn't had a chance to find a new home. I also talked to Retta Slay, founder of the Challengers for at-risk kids. She's also at a quandary trying to find some fields because it's not really fair for the kids that are older. They've aged out of Little League, and now they want to form an adult league. So they want to be on a regulation field. And we had a long conversation this morning, and we're going to be getting with Retta Slay and finding out if we can offer some assistance in the upcoming weeks. So Stephany Forrester in a house. Stephany, what's the latest? I know you've been talking to Ted pretty much daily. What's the latest with Ted Pollard, founder of Friday Night Lights?
We are kind of moving very aggressively in this situation because time is of the essence. And we are pretty much 99% sure that we can do it in the back of Irwin Showground. We're in the process of getting estimates on the turf. We've got the lights to figure out. And we're also trying to get, a backup in the event that this falls through. Although we don't feel like it's going to fall through. We've reached out to several different people. We're trying to think of a plan that we can financially figure this out with Ted if needed, we'll do a fundraiser. I know that we've got the lights to figure out. I know that Ted tomorrow is going to do a walkthrough with one of the companies that will do the turf at a discounted price. I know he's got somebody that's giving him a price also. So we're trying to get a lot of movement in with that. I've also let Bill Brown in on what we're doing, and hopefully he can get in on it and give his input. As I come from a mother that lost their child, I've realized that they need something to do. We need a sports center. We really need one in Santa Barbara. And it stops at a certain age. There's really not a lot for them to do. We noticed it over the opiate disaster. And, I just think our generation is going to keep going and going if we don't do something with these kids of age and have some availability. And it's not just football, it's everything. But right now we're really focusing on the football because we need somewhere to be playing Friday Night Live football.
I think the best way to approach this, I talked to Bill Pintard and I've also talked to Redder about this, to jump over there at the Earl of Warren and just express the need for the city to understand that the current infrastructure that we have is not sustainable to the kids, all the kids and the growth. It's not even remotely close. I mean, Retta spends a month, on the phone nonstop trying to get something for her kids, she has year-round sports for their challengers. And my kids participating in the challengers their whole life, volunteering. I really do think that my kids' empathy and everything that they have, it's really framed them. And I've told her I loved her for it. And we went to her son Keaton's graduation. I mean, it's just amazing. And I know Angela Miller Bevan would be the first to tell you because of Jackson, and Sports Radio Sports sponsored Jackson's team since the beginning. She loves that program. Angela, give us some feedback.
Yeah, as a parent, and I grew up in Santa Barbara, but I've also had the different ages. My oldest son is 28 and my youngest son is 15, and we loved FNL. But I'll tell you something, this community does not support our children in athletics. They just don't. I mean, it's very minimal what they do. They make it very challenging. And we started with FNL when it first started here, and they have had to bounce. And it's so hard on the kids because they literally, and it's not just the kids, FNL Friday Night Lights is a family event. And my husband and I missed it so much when Jackson aged out of it that we actually tagged along with other families so that we could go watch other kids that weren't even our own because we loved FNL so much. It was like a social gathering. So I really feel strongly that this community needs to come together. I mean, right now my son plays club basketball for the Magic team, and we can't even have tournaments here because we don't have the ability to have other teams come from other areas to do basketball tournaments. And it's something that's been going on since my oldest son was in school. And it's, I think as a community, we all need to come together and really help these different sports teams get together because they do keep the kids off the streets. They do give them something to do. And this town we just don't provide a lot for these kids. And we really need, I've been fighting for it for years. I just think, when I was younger, we had roller skating rinks, we had ice skating rinks, we had miniature golf. We don't have any of that now. Well, we have an ice skating rink. I take that back. But, this community, I hope that everybody continues to rally around people like Ted and Nevin who want to create something for our children to participate in.
Well, it's good for the PAL program, which is shrinking a little bit. Because you got to get the Police Athletic League, and then you're forming a relationship with our law enforcement, and our public. And Ted's program goes K through 8. Well, what about 9 through 12? What about an adult league? And again, we can't have any of that unless we have a center. That's why I talked to Bill Pintard. It's ridiculous. Almost soon to be 10-time champion. And he's playing, nothing against Pershing, okay, but it's not a stadium. We need a stadium.
You're so right.
We need things, okay?
Yeah.
We need things.
We do.
And it doesn't make sense. And we have lots of rich people here.
Well, and this is the thing is that everybody, we all have been talking about it for so many years, and I'm ready to take action. I want to do whatever I can to make sure this happens, because I don't want to see FNL go away. It's so vital for these kids to be able to do these things. And like you said, they have athletics at the high school level, but it really isn't enough. It's not enough for them. There needs to be more.
Well, it's good for 20% of the kids.
Right.
I mean, versus the ones that try out. What happens to the 80% that get cut? I mean, there's no clubs underneath that. The only way to do it is through like the Friday Night Lights. And, we're trying to get rugby in here. We're trying on a lower kids level, fencing, lacrosse, so many sports, and we just can't do it. It just doesn't happen. Right. This is a crisis. And then what happens? What's the end result? A 13-year-old overdosed last week. That's the end result. So kids don't have anything to do, so they just get mesmerized with these games that they play. They're latchkey kids, and then they get involved in things they shouldn't. Not okay. And so we have to really work together as a community, as a family. We're all community leaders here on this podium, and just something to all think about. We've got to just keep talking and loving it up. Just, boy, what a great thing. What a great opportunity. What an amazing creation that we could all get together. A field for champions for all people in the community. We have the numbers. Just something to pray on tonight, I guess. Hey, let's pull a card and change it up a little bit. We got Kristine Marie right after these messages.
Put your flat feet on the ground. When I said let me say it one more time, y'all. Now all you wanna do is ride around Sally. All you wanna do is ride around Sally. Mustang Sally. You better slow your Mustang.
We are back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
Every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome forward to Teen Sports Radio. My name is Kristine Marie. I'm from I am with a view from the deck. I read tarot, and today we're looking at, in a continuation of our journey, the Empress card, which is the light at the end of the tunnel. I like to think of the Empress as the part of the feminine energy, divine feminine energy, I call it. There's a passive and there's an active. This is the active, and it is about release, allow, let go, surrender the process. The High Priestess, who we spoke with the last time on this show that we did a card in our journey, we went from the Fool to the Magician to the High Priestess. Now we're at the Empress, and the Empress is really about surrendering, allowing, letting go. And I think of the story of Persephone, who is 6 months of the year the queen of the underworld, where she's ferrying live souls from life to death. And the other 6 months of the year, she's up on the outer world, bringing in the new life for the spring, for the summer, for that time. And it's really about, I don't know about you, but June has been a difficult month, or was a difficult month. And so I do feel like I have been birthed into something new, and there's still some contractions going on, but it's coming through, I think by the end of July, things will have shifted in a big way for me. And there's in my transparent tarot, the card's really beautiful. It shows the earth in a sort of the fecund, beautiful earth, sort of surrendered with a flower. It's really beautiful. It's just it kind of connotes high summer too, which is where we are. Can we take a breath out? It's that breathing in and that breathing out, that release, allowing ourselves to just let go of some of the things we've been really pushing through to do. I was also sort of wanting to pick a card for Angela, if that's okay. Do we have enough time for me to do that?
Oh, sure. We're going to do whatever you want to do.
So, Angela, I'm just going to pick a card. I'm just going to go ahead and just pick one for you, see what comes out. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, Angela, you got the Emperor, which is actually going to be next time's card. The Emperor is about being in a place of mastery. And he's the partner of the Empress, and he's about building and holding structure so that the Empress can flow and release, allow, let go. The Emperor is also, honey, about following your heart. In Chinese medicine, the heart and the heart meridian, the heart is the Emperor, and the mind's highest and best use is in service to the heart. So when the heart and the body know what is the next place to go, the mind might say that doesn't make sense, but the heart says, well, that's okay. You can make it make sense. We're moving that way. And that really reminds me of what we were just talking about with this, the Friday Night Lights, where it might not make logical sense to some people in the community. It might not make financial sense to some people in the community, but the heart and the body of this community need that for our soul, right? So
I love that.
So the people that need things to make sense need to just make it make sense, right? Because it can happen.
It can happen. I believe it. I love that. Thank you, Kristine.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Angela, you want to tell everybody what your new platform is right now? I'm at My Little CEO.
My new platform. I am the CEO, executive director of the Unity Shop. So
Nice.
I will be working with, which is my passion, working with lots of youth and families in the community. It's come full circle for me. So I'm super excited for this next chapter in my life. And it's really what I've always been passionate about for so many years. So I am super excited.
Okay,
So if
Angela,
anybody wants
tell
to
us
reach out
one more
because,
line about the Unity Shop so that everyone knows what you do.
Unity Shop actually has a few platforms. So they have a senior program, we have a jobs program, but mostly we provide food, clothing, school supplies for low-income families. We also have a thrift store and a antique store on State Street that helps sustain all of the programs that we do.
And if you haven't ever gone through the Unity Shop for a tour, it's amazing. I mean, it is so concierge. I'm like, this is the nicest thing. Hello, where's the oranges? You get to just you get walked over. If you've been to a grocery store lately, there's like no service. There's no.
Well, and we do all kinds of like the food and everything that's there is people are allowed, they come in and they can shop and they don't have to feel like they're not buying things that they don't want. They get to buy, they get to pick up things that they really love and need. And also for the youth in our community, you guys, this is the perfect opportunity for you to come down to the Unity Shop and get some of those volunteer hours that you need before you graduate from high school. So if you need to get some volunteer hours, please check in with me at the Unity Shop.
And what's the best way to get a hold of you, Angela?
You can shout out into the universe, Angela, and I just appear. No, it's
funny.
It's Angela at Unity Shop, SHOPPE.org. Or you can call me. My number is 805-331-6161.
Good. Chatter. All right, guys, we've got a lot coming up. We've got Dr. Amy Saltzman right after these messages.
And this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Hello, this is Dr. Amy Saltzman at stillquietplace.com and the now launched spotaspider.com. And so I wanted to take a minute and tie Spot a Spider to Friday Night Lights, which is for people who want to educate their children about all types of abuse. So sneaky, covert, emotional abuse and overt emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, and raise money for Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights, if you go and register to the affiliate program, 20% of all purchases with your affiliate code will come back to you for fundraising. And you will educate your athletes, your parents, your community members on how to prevent abuse. And I want to say pick up on something that Erica was saying. I did not see the article, but apparently there was an article recently in Newshawk saying that we raised something like $200,000 for cats, for homeless cats, and something like, I'm not getting the numbers exactly right, but $4,000 or something for homeless people. So I'm just encouraging our community. We can support cats, but let's support our most vulnerable people in our community to the same extent, and make sure that we're funding opportunities that lead to physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health.
You just get a glimpse at the mountains, you absorb the sea air. You don't realize that over 50% of our kids are at or below the poverty level. It just doesn't sink. You can't see it. It's so sad. And because of that, and it's unfortunately, it's a pay-for-play community. It's always been that way. It's just like Angela said, if you have the money, you're fine. If you don't have the money, the resources are just not there. We have to change the mindset. And then we have somebody like Dr. Tiffany Morris, and she's like, is it my job to take a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning? No, but am I a human being? Yes. So that's the kind of mindset we need to do, a shift. And the only way we're going to get there is through, not to be all whooshy, but it's like you have to do it with love. That's what will turn on a person's receptives and say, yeah, hey, you're not really seeing it. Go around to the Boys and Girls Clubs. You'll see. Mike, thank God for Mike Baker. Michael is doing such a great job. And I'm hats off to him, and, getting the community, joining Boys and Girls Club and United together, serving thousands of kids, feeding thousands of kids. Same thing with the Unity Shop, feeding thousands of children. I just think we need to change our mindset. Stephany, what do you say?
Real quickly, I think I honestly think this is something that's extremely acute. And we don't really have time to wait. So far in a half a year, we lost 189 people to fentanyl. Last year, we lost 133. So you can imagine how that is jumping. I'm reaching out right now to a really good sponsor he's an ex-football player for the 49ers, one for the Rams. They've got an amazing project, and I'm trying to maybe get a bigger picture so that our kids have some stability. The community has a place to go. Kids that can't afford it get to come. So I'm really going to push for times of the essence, because there's no reason in Santa Barbara that we cannot come together like this. And we've got so much money. We've got resources. Me and my son went to Montecito Union, played every sport, all the big hitters. We need to figure it out, because, like I said, time's of the essence for everything. Mental health, we're losing people, and we need to step up. And that's what I'm trying to do, in a very delicate way, though.
But I think I agree with you, Stephany. And because I have been fighting this. I have a nephew who was addicted to drugs and on the streets and went to all the best schools. And fortunately, he did not, we were able to save him, which is not what always happens. And, it's been like this for so many years, and it just breaks my heart to see that we continue down this path. And you're right, we do have the resources and the finances to try and come up with something better to help our kids. But I did want to say something positive about the House of Hustle, which is what Magic plays under the basketball team for, it's a, they play club. And those kids, the ones that did have, the parents could afford to pay for them, all the kids on the team went out and raised enough money so that they could scholarship so many kids to play club also. And the families have all pulled together. And if it's one kid at a time, that's better than nothing. And that's what, I think that there are some families in this town that are taking kids under their wings and they're trying their best to do whatever they can. We just have to keep talking about it and saying things and educating people, because the more you educate people, the more they're going to understand, and it'll be right in front of their face. So what you're doing is amazing, because talking about it is the first step, and it does help. It really does. And if you save one kid, I look at that like at least we're going forward in a positive way.
Well, when you see that they just posted the people that handle the UC school system's money, the financial firm, just bought 105 acres on the coast. Okay, you know what I mean? So, these universities, we have UCSB, we have City College, we have Westmont. So that's one arm that can have the money because they have endowment that could, buy land, and then we could all, as a city, help grow the infrastructure. So there's a way to do it. It's kind of like we need one huge blinding light that everybody follows. That's what we need. And it doesn't matter who that person is, because this fentanyl, it's a horrible thing, and it's not the only drug that's out there. And we've legalized a bunch of, it's like parents are in a quandary. Just say, might as well get you a marijuana card because I don't want you to buy a fent pen outside of that academy. Am I right, Angela?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've experienced this, and it's so scary, is that they can walk right off campus and buy something from, someone right there. And these dealers make it look like it's just a pen, like a vape pen. And they take that and trade out the fentanyl and the drugs in it. And it's just like, and, the kid can have $10. And, if they, their brains are still developing, they're still not making the right choices. And there are parents that are saying, well, then I'll just buy you to buy drugs legally. Well, that's not fixing this. This is not fixing it. And, I feel so strongly about all of us coming together and, being the people that are walking into those liquor stores. And if you see something, call someone, say something. Don't let, just try and be a person that's going to make change in this, because these kids are getting drugs all over the place. And they can go online, they can go to the corner liquor store, they can get it from a parent that wants to just be cool. It's across the board. It's a pandemic.
Don.
Yes, I just wanted to piggyback in here that, the purpose of our show always is that we're trying to shine light on places where human history has been cruel. There's inhumanity to man, but there's so much compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. And if we just see the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. And what we're always stressing here is when people have behaved magnificently, this gives others the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending the spinning top of a world in a different direction. And so that's one of the things that we are always, honoring and reinforcing here, because there is a way to do these things in the whole region, in Santa Barbara and in Ojai. A lot of similar problems. And it may scale up bigger in Santa Barbara, but it's many of the same problems.
We're going to go to break, but I got to say, and I don't want to put Stephany on the spot, but we had a conversation a few nights ago, and we got off the phone. I bawled like a baby, because she's like, what would you rather do, watch your kids play in the field, or would you like to look down on them in a coffin? And I just lost it. So this is the thing that we have to work on. We have to do this together. Because it can happen to any family, it can happen to any child, and we just be mindful. We have to talk about it. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. Let's take a little break. We've got Ed Langlo right after these messages.
Well, now together we will stand, everybody.
back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
I'm Ed Lango with If Only I'd Known. If Only I'd Known is a mentor's moment with the teens with us remotely, as well as those listening into the show. Today's segment is about what you make of things and how habits can help and hinder those decisions. Our lives are pretty much filled with habits. Some habits are beneficial. We can get to the point of doing things without even thinking about them. That can free up your mind to pay attention to more important things around you. Our bodies get into the habit of sleeping, waking, and eating at certain times. It's called a circadian rhythm. The term is from Latin circa diem, meaning close to a day. It repeats about every 24 hours. Our body gets in the habit of eating at a certain time, so at noon we get hungry, or at our customary bedtime we usually get sleepy. But when you go on a trip into a different time zone and disrupt your circadian rhythm, your body can really struggle with changing those habits, and we get jet lag. And understanding more about habits can help. There's obviously good and bad habits. A good way to break a bad habit is to replace it with a better one. It's not always easy, so it also helps to know that studies have shown that on average, it takes 66 days to form a solid habit. You can get into the habit of smoking, drinking, or drug use. That habit can turn into a dependency on nicotine or alcohol. Unchecked, the dependency can turn into an addiction. You may be strong enough to break a bad habit, but if you get addicted, good luck changing that one on your own. Addicts almost always need help with counseling or rehab. My advice is pay attention to the things in your life. If you see a habit forming that may not end well, start changing that tendency while you can. The other part of this segment is how we decide what we make of something that happened in our lives. Have you ever experienced two people watching the same movie and have a completely different opinion of it? That's because most things that you experience don't inherently have a meaning except the meaning you give them. Like maybe you thought the movie you went to was great, and you don't understand how anybody could not like it. And yet the friend that went with you and saw the same movie thought it sucked. That's because that's the meaning that they gave it, and that's just their opinion. Or two people are in the same class and have completely different assessment of it. You might think your math class is boring, while the person next to you thinks it's interesting to learn formulas and equations. And because of that, they're usually good at it. Try getting in the habit of looking at something interesting in the classes that you think are boring. It'll pay off down the road, and you won't have to sit in that class bored every day. Then there's that kid at school that you think is ugly or has an annoying voice, while your friend likes to hang with him. That could be because you have the habit of judging everybody you meet. Remember, habits are something you can change. You may have more power than you think here. Even if you're not necessarily in that habit, you might want to try forming a habit of looking for 3 positive things about every person that you meet before you start criticizing. Just remember, very little that happens in your life has any meaning except the meaning you give it. And forming the right habits can help give those things the right meaning. Keep it positive, and I'll see you next time on If Only I'd Known.
Well done. Thank you so much, Ed. Let's take a little break. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We'll be back with more after these.
Brazil. Back in the USSR. Way down in the
back, and this is Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salden, Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday,
9 a.m.
Welcome back to Teen Sports Radio. And today, as often we do, we are discussing how to support mental, emotional, and spiritual health in our teens and in our communities. And I think the first step is paying attention. So paying attention to ourselves, really taking time to check in with ourselves. And if we're struggling, to reach out and ask for help. And if the first person you reach out to doesn't help you, then definitely reach out to someone else. For sure, anyone on the podcast is here to support you. And then we as a community need to be doing more to create the spaces where kids can go to be safe, to be seen, to be supported, to be nurtured, to be celebrated, so that they're not looking for relief from their distress, from their anxiety, from their depression in unsafe and unhealthy places. And I'm totally with Stephany and Angela in terms of the community coming together and creating a space for this. And I think we need to take advantage of the spaces that we have. Our schools, our sports organizations can be doing more to support our teens' mental and emotional health. And we need to make sure that they have both the financial resources and the skilled staff to do that. And if we can take care of our cats, we can definitely take care of our people.
Good point. Kristine.
Wow, here we go. I absolutely agree. And I think it's so important. What comes to me is the idea that I think many years ago, I think in Santa Barbara, part of what we're experiencing is the loss of the middle class. There is no more middle class, really, very little in Santa Barbara. A lot of it is still in Ventura and moved to Ventura. But when I remember 10, 20 years ago, there were lots of places, there were festivals every weekend. There were things that families and young people could do and go to that were very supportive and multicultural and inclusive. And now there seems to be, just a gap. And so I think it behooves us to fill that gap in whatever way, in healthy ways for our children and for ourselves.
Alex.
Hi, everyone. Alex here with Fit for Life 805. God, it's such a heavy topic. Addiction, middle class, gentrification, keeping yourselves busy. I mean, addiction it's hard. I struggled with it with alcohol. I mean, on occasion, I still get the urge to drink. And I just remember that it's not good for me and my body. And it's easier said than done. And it is a struggle. Luckily, I was able to find help and support because you're right, Don, it did become an addiction. Or Ed, I'm sorry. It did become an addiction and it was a challenge. So having that help, reaching, and I think the hardest part is asking for the help, because some of us are just afraid of judgment. Like, oh God, you're 18 and you have this issue. Like, people are afraid to hear a response from someone when they open up and expose their vulnerability. So it can be a challenge for someone to have the courage to ask for help. And I think, as adults, it's hard. It's hard to see your child, a friend, a loved one struggle with addiction. And I think reserving your judgment and just being a helping person that they can lean on for support, I think that's the biggest thing. But again, it's easier said than done. And it's hard for children. It's hard for adults, both ways. But I think just asking for the help is the biggest step, really. Exercise
That's why we
helps,
have
but
Dr.
it's only
Amy in the house.
temporary.
We have somebody that you could just put her number on speed dial. Dr. Amy.
650-575-5780. Call me. And I wanted to go back to a couple things that Alex said. Like, first of all, know that whatever you're struggling with, you deserve help. And if you're the person who's asked for help, just know that the person who is asking has taken a risk. They're being super vulnerable. They want to be helped, and they deserve your compassion and your support. And if you're not in a space to do it, then help them find someone who can. But as Alex said, the last thing anyone needs is their judgment. It's, I love you. I know you're struggling. I know you never meant to get into this place, and together we're going to find a way out.
Don Sanders.
Yes, I like that very, very much. And, reaching out and finding a connection with people where they've been kind of avoiding it for a long time is a big challenge. It reminds me what you all have been talking about of a similar situation I have with my older son. I don't know what the anxiety is just to keep an appointment to get together to do something, and so I'm searching for that one too. Fortunately, he has community support or some support in his community where he's living still. But it's a very tough problem. And the thing is, we can't give up. We have to keep reaching out.
I don't know if the layer is that we have to do a better job. Our education at young ages, it was said that it failed. Saying no to drugs was not the right message. So I don't know what the new message is for our elementary school kids, but we need to. Dr. Amy, do you know what's going on that? Because
I think the thing is, you tell a kid to say no to drugs, that doesn't actually help them address their anxiety and depression. So my thing, and I think Dr. Tiffany talked about this as well, we need to be providing children with concrete skills for addressing feelings, intense feelings of difficulty, feelings of not good enough. We need to be providing them skills. And a lot of that can be done in a mindfulness class by a skillful teacher at a very low cost. And then there are going to be certain kids for whom that's not enough, and they're going to need additional support, and we need to provide that additional support as well. But the first tier could be provided to everyone from first grade through being a senior in high school. We could be giving these kids these skills.
You have correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Amy, but you have a program all ready to roll out. Am I right?
I do.
What grade?
3rd and up, and really I can do K through 12, but 3rd and up is good enough.
All ready to roll out. All we need to do is just get somebody to check the box.
Yep.
Maybe you'll be launching an Ojai with Dr. Tiffany Morris, who actually is excited about new programs and a new approach to look at things for the future. Based on a strong foundation of kids. This is what we need to do. We've got to find somebody who's doing it and get it done. I guess, Dr. D, are we done for today?
We are coming close to the end. I will reiterate what I said, I think it was last week and the week before, that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection, and we need to connect with our young people in a big way.
Yeah.
And there's actually great data to prove that. There's amazing data. I'll bring it for next time, but there's great data to show that connection is the solution to addiction, isolation, etc.
Yeah.
Great. Dr. Amy, we thank you so much for being here. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. Hey, let's roll it out. Let's talk it up this week. God bless. Talk to you next week.